Hello! Today it's time for the simplest, easiest and one of the most delicious fermentations. Fermented cabbage or sauerkraut. If you are new to fermentation, this will be the best one to start with. All we need is, of course, cabbage, salt, a bowl and some food grade container to make the fermentation process. It's worth adding carrots to the sauerkraut. They add a bit of sweetness and, in my opinion, make the cabbage look better. At first, we need to clean the cabbage of any imperfections, which can be done in two ways: by removing the outer leaves or by washing the cabbage and cutting off any imperfections. In the second option, we do not waste as much cabbage as when throwing out the leaves. After cleaning, cut the cabbage in half and then into quarters. This way it will be easier to remove the core. Now it's time to chop the cabbage. The thinner the better. You can do it with a knife or, like me, with a mandolin slicer. Weigh the cabbage and carrots before shredding. It should be easier if you are going to use big amount. The amount of salt we will need is from 2 to 2.5% of total weight, in my case of cabbage and carrots. We do not add any water here because the cabbage has enough water in it. We will extract it in the next step while kneading and squeezing. For one large cabbage I used about 2 carrots. Roll up your sleeves and let's get started. At first, try to gently mix the vegetables with salt and then start squeezing the cabbage. After a short while, you should see water starting to collect at the bottom of the bowl. And when you squeeze the cabbage, the juice should come out. Continue for a while, and when there is already a lot of water coming out of the cabbage, roughly as much as in my case, you can start transferring it to the container. Each time you add cabbage to the container, try to press it down so that as much juice as possible comes out of it. Once you have transferred everything, pour the remaining water from the bowl into the container. Now we need to make sure that our cabbage stays submerged in an anaerobic environment throughout the fermentation process. This is important because if exposed to oxygen, mold could develop and spoil the fermentation. If a small amount of mold does form on the surface, and you notice that enough early, simply scoop it off and continue with the fermentation. If you are using a jar like me, the best way to keep the cabbage submerged under the brine is by using a food-safe Ziploc bag. Place the bag in the jar and pour in the brine solution with the same salt concentration you used for the cabbage, for example 2.25%. Close the lid and leave the cabbage at room temperature during the fermentation process. It's best to keep it in a dark place or cover it with a kitchen towel. If you notice bubbles forming, take a clean, sterilized butter knife or something similar and release the gases. Check it every day and repeat the process if necessary. After about 2-3 weeks, if you see almost no new bubbles, your cabbage should be ready. You can taste it now, and I can guarantee that you will not find store-bought fermented cabbage as good as homemade anywhere. Enjoy! The best way to store fermented cabbage is in a dark and cool place, or in the fridge. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. See you in the next one.